The royal rota and mainstream media might be too terrified these days to call out the egregious lies of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, afraid of their ever-increasing lawfare. But trust me, I'm not. So today I can report a world exclusive.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's once fairy tale romance has taken a dramatic turn. Their explosive exit from royal life in 2020, dubbed Megxit, sent shockwaves through the monarchy and captivated the world. Now settled in California with their two young children, Archie and Lilibet, the couple seems to be navigating a growing distance from the UK, both geographically and emotionally. Harry's recent solo trips to his homeland without Meghan and the children have fueled speculation about the state of their relationship with the royal family and whether the Duchess of Sussex will ever return to British soil.
That his new and false claims about the late Queen and the late Princess Diana during a softball interview with the Sussex's favoured propaganda outfit Woke ITV has caused hurt and blind rage within the royal family. Just when you think the Duke of Delusion would struggle to go any lower, he somehow manages to sink to new depths. I am, of course, referring to his outlandish claim, backed up by zero evidence, either anecdotal or document-based, that the late Queen was privately backing his various historic High Court phone hacking cases. Watch. My royal sources have reacted with total disdain in terms of both the validity and accuracy of that claim. And let me be clear about this, it suggests very much that Harry is lying again. So one source told me the reality is that the Queen's most senior staff were intimately involved in sensitive discussions with News UK about settling phone hacking claims, which Prince William reluctantly did. If any conversations took place between Her Majesty before her death and Harry about phone hacking cases, she would have been keeping the peace and avoiding confrontation. Now, I don't believe for a second that the Queen, a public servant to the very end, believed the best use of her grandson's time was pursuing spurious court cases alongside me celebs like Hugh Grant and Charlotte Church, simply designed to seek revenge and financial reward for a 20-year-old scandal that has already been well and truly resolved.
Since their relocation to California, Harry has made a handful of fleeting visits to the UK, most notably for the unveiling of his mother, Princess Diana's statue, and his father, King Charles III's coronation. These trips, however, have been conspicuously absent of Meghan and their children, sparking a frenzy of speculation and analysis. The couple has cited security concerns as the primary reason for their limited travel back to the UK. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have been embroiled in legal battles with the British Home Office over the provision of security detail for their family during visits, claiming they are unable to ensure their safety without adequate police protection. This ongoing dispute highlights the deep divisions that persist between the Sussexes and the British establishment, casting a shadow of uncertainty over their future interactions with Harry's homeland.
Harry also stunned royal courtiers by attempting to use the press as the reason why his wife Meghan Markle will never return to the UK. Watch this. Oh, come on. That is codswallop on so many levels. So what Harry's saying, just to be very clear about it, is that if there is any attack whatsoever on Meghan, that it is the fault of her critics. Now, it's interesting, isn't it? Because no one seems to care about the critics of Nigel Farage or Donald Trump when they are publicly attacked. So what's the difference here? But the other really serious point that I would make is that the biggest purveyor of mistruths and misinformation about the royal family in recent years have come from Harry and Meghan themselves for commercial gain. All of that aside, though, it is widely known that the reason Meghan is terrified to return to the UK is because of the public reception she believes she would receive. To suggest she is somehow less safe in the UK than the US, or any other country actually that she visits, is just ludicrous. And we all know it. I'm also told that William remains particularly livid that Harry continues to invoke the memory of their late mother, Princess Diana, in his various campaigns. Doing so breaks a rock-solid pledge agreed by the two brothers in 2017 after making two intimate documentaries about her death for the BBC and ITV that they would no longer talk about her in public, unless it was absolutely essential. And the idea is that that was to allow her to rest in peace while protecting her remarkable charity legacy. Yet, in the new interview with ITV's latest propagandist for the Sussexes, Rebecca Barry, Harry took direct aim at William's characterisation of their mother as paranoid in the years before her death. While it might be hard for Harry to accept, here are some home truths. He didn't actually know anything about his mother's state of mind in the months before her death. Harry has admitted publicly he has virtually no memories of his mother as a child. Now, that is not the same as William, because William, by contrast, was actually one of her main confidants. Lots of people say it was really inappropriate, actually. William, at 15, was her shoulder to cry on and was brought in on many of her interactions with the media, even on sensitive matters of her love life. There's a famous story, actually, where Piers Morgan spoke about a lunch with William and Diana, where William actually joked about using his Eton dartboard as a place where he could put the face of Will Carling's wife, a woman who at the time Diana was publicly rowing with. So he was very involved with all of these conversations. William knew Diana was paranoid. He isn't trying to degrade his mother's memory in any way. He is simply stating a fact. So for Harry to weaponize that in his latest interview is particularly cruel, especially given he has now become far worse than any tabloid newspaper when it comes to spilling the secrets of the royal family. But he doesn't care. Harry knows there is no way back for him with his family, so his campaign of vengeance goes on. Remember, this is all about sending Piers Morgan to jail, a ludicrous idea. And it's actually making him an increasingly unhappy and self-obsessed man. But to react now, let me bring in my superstar panel. And today I'm delighted to be joined by the owner of True Conservative Media, and my goodness, we need more of that, don't we? Chris Davies, and the former leader of UKIP, but so much more than that, Rebecca Jane. So great to see both of you again. It has been far too long. Rebecca, I forced you to watch this Woe Is Me fest last night. What's your verdict?
It's just the same thing repeating over and over and over again. It's like a broken record. Like, what more can we say about it? Yeah, okay, you say that your phone's been hacked. You say that it's giving you horrific issues throughout the rest of your life. There's a lot of things that's giving him a lot of horrific issues throughout the rest of his life. This is not the be-all and the end-all of it.
Chris, what was your take?
Dan, thanks for having me on. Harry is always the victim, isn't he? It's never Harry's fault. Whatever's happened, it's never Harry's fault. It's okay for Harry to write a book, to appear on an interview with Oprah, to tell lies, to do whatever he wants with no responsibility and no accountability. I thought the Montecito Moaners were meant to be going away to get away from the public gaze. All they've done since they've been there is basically prostitute themselves around for anybody that's prepared to throw a £1 note or a dollar bill at them. I think he's absolutely disgusting. I don't want him back in the UK. I don't want his wife back here either.
Harry's solo trips to the UK while raising eyebrows are not entirely surprising given the circumstances. The Duke of Sussex has always maintained a close connection to his homeland, and his recent visits underscore the importance of these ties despite the geographical distance and familial tensions. He has participated in charity events and engagements close to his heart, demonstrating his enduring commitment to the causes he championed as a senior working royal. However, the absence of his wife and children during these visits speaks volumes about the complexities of their situation. security concerns remain paramount, with Harry expressing reservations about exposing his family to what he perceives as a hostile environment in the UK. The couple's very public falling out with the British tabloid press, coupled with the online vitriol often directed at Meghan, has undoubtedly contributed to their apprehension. This cautious approach to their travel arrangements, while understandable, further fuels speculation about a growing rift between the Sussexes and the royal family. The optics of Harry attending significant family events alone, while Meghan remains in California, are hard to ignore. This transatlantic separation, whether by choice or circumstance, inevitably raises questions about the state of their relationships with Harry's family and the long-term implications for their future.
Yeah, I think most people would agree with that, Chris. The thing is, Rebecca, what I cannot stand is that he's now trying to change narratives involving dead members of the family, knowing full well that they are unable to fight back. But remember, Rebecca, I've been very close to this story. I mean, I was working at News UK when a lot of these negotiations with Prince William were going on, and I knew a little bit about the negotiations and what was happening. And it was actually the Queen's advisors who were involved in this. So maybe Harry's had a conversation with the Queen where he said, oh, I'm going to court, and she's just sort of nodded along. But she didn't want the royal family to be embroiled in years and years of legal action against Britain's free press. Like, that's a terrible look for the royal family. And by the way, Rebecca, that's not me excusing the behaviour of newspapers, especially during the phone hacking scandal. But remember, that's been dealt with criminally. People have gone to jail for that, and the News of the World actually shut down.
Yeah, of course. You know, and the royal family's number one rule, isn't it, is that they don't complain and they don't explain. Like, this brings the ultimate shame on them in a lot of ways. And you're right, you know, we don't justify the things that happen, because actually they were pretty horrific. And yes, they did have a lot of, you know, pretty horrific consequences. That being said, though, of course he's going to pull out the mum card and the gran card, because it's the ultimate victim card for him to be able to play. He can't actually just fight his own battles, can he? He can't just say what he thinks and what he feels. He has to bring in his mother and his late grandmother, because he knows how loved they were by the public, and he knows now that he's not. So because he can't get the sympathy on his own, because he can't fight his own battles, he has to bring that in. And I think people would have more respect for him if he actually didn't do that.
Well, I completely agree. And Chris, you've got to admit, this is now really difficult for Prince William, because there was this very clear pact in 2017 for them to stop speaking constantly about Diana and trying to invoke the memory of Diana. And that's now all Harry does. But he's been very careful with choosing the word paranoid, because that is a direct riposte to Prince William, who you remember after the panorama.
While Harry navigates the complexities of his relationship with the UK, Meghan seems firmly rooted in their new life in California. Her focus remains on their young family and their burgeoning media empire, Archerwell Productions. Their multi-million-dollar deal with Netflix, signed in 2020, promised a slate of documentaries, feature films, scripted shows, and children's programming, signaling the couple's ambition to carve out a new path for themselves outside the confines of the royal family. However, their foray into Hollywood has not been without its hiccups. Meghan's highly anticipated Netflix cookery show, With Love Meghan, has been postponed not once but twice, amidst a flurry of production issues and rumours of behind-the-scenes drama. The recent wildfires that ravaged California, forcing the evacuation of their Montecito community, have also impacted the couple's professional endeavours, prompting them to shift their attention towards supporting their community in the wake of the disaster. The couple's hands-on approach to aiding their community, from opening up their home to evacuees to working with local organisations to distribute supplies, has garnered praise from some quarters. Their Archerwell Foundation has also been actively involved in fundraising efforts and promoting mental health support for those affected by the devastating fires.
That report over the terrible BBC actions involving Martin Bashir William actually went on the record on camera and described his mother as paranoid. Now, he wasn't doing that in any sort of horrible way. William was the one who was really close to Diana throughout all of this period in a way that Harry wasn't, because he was younger. I'm not saying that there was any nefarious reason why Harry wasn't involved. He was a kid, he was a child, whereas William was a much more responsible teenager who Diana had taken into her trust for the last couple of years of her life.
If I was William last night and I had the misfortune to have to watch Woke ITV, as both Rebecca and I did, I would have thought that ITV had bought the rights to Only Fools and Horses.
Yes.
Because the number of times that Harry invokes the late Queen and Princess Diana, I just find it absolutely incorrigible. He's got no class, he's got no quality, he's got no depth. It is the me show. It's the Harry and Meghan show. And that's all they exist for now. They are a parody of a royal couple. If you cast your mind back to the time that they were wed, when they were at their absolute peak of their popularity share price, the nation absolutely loved them. And if you look at where they've gone and the short period of time it's taken for all of that good human capital to be eroded, it is a crying shame what's happened. But I go back to what I said a couple of minutes ago, Dan. These two just need to be ignored. They get far too much oxygen, and the best thing to do with them is to ignore them.
Despite their efforts to establish themselves as philanthropists and media moguls, Harry and Meghan continue to face intense scrutiny from both the British and international press. Meghan, in particular, has been subjected to relentless criticism, with some commentators accusing her of being out of touch and struggling to define her public image in the wake of her royal exit. The postponement of her Netflix show, while attributed to unforeseen circumstances, has done little to quell the negative chatter surrounding her career aspirations. The couple's decision to step back from royal duties and relocate to California was always going to be a gamble. While they have gained a degree of personal freedom and the opportunity to pursue their own ventures, they have also faced significant challenges in navigating their new reality. The ongoing security concerns, the negative press attention, and the geographical distance from Harry's family all contribute to a sense of uncertainty surrounding their future. Whether Meghan will ever return to the UK remains a subject of much speculation. While Harry has maintained some semblance of a connection with his homeland through his solo visits, Meghan's relationship with the UK appears more fraught. Until the issues surrounding their security and their fractured relationship with the British press are resolved, it seems unlikely that we will see the Duchess of Sussex gracing British soil anytime soon. The transatlantic divide between the Sussexes and the royal family shows no immediate signs of closing, leaving the future of their relationship and Meghan's place within it uncertain.